Hello everybody and welcome back to KSP POV, where we play Kerbal Space Program in first person. As you can see, a new day dawns on the KSC, and we are now going to be taking further leaps into our Mun program, because I've decided it is time to put Kerbals on the surface of the Mun. So today we are going to be building the craft for and launching just that. We're going to get Valentina Kerman and potentially Bob. We'll see if we got room enough, but the main goal today is we are going to be planting a flag. So I'm very excited. We've got plenty of science from the last mission. In the last episode, we landed a probe in 3 different biomes, and so each one of that gave us quite a bit of science. So let's go ahead and stop admiring the sunrise, because that was kind of nice, but let's go ahead and R&D and spend our science. So first and foremost, we're going to need a capsule pod. I can spend 22 science and get the onion reentry module, and that leads down the path into the different types of spherical modules, but I think we're going to go for the standard Mach 1s. That's also where we have our best IVA mod, so let's go ahead and grab that right away. We're also going to go in here and get advanced construction, and primarily this will give us a Clampotron docking port, the regular size, and the hydraulic detachment manifolds. Both of those are great, but primarily we're going to be, because we're not going to be using those right now, we're primarily going to be using him for the larger decouplers and stack separators. And lastly, we're going to spend our last 90 in electrics. And this is primarily for the better batteries, the better communication dishes, and the better lights. A lot to do with the lights, because that'll help us for landing. So we don't have very much to spend, but we can unlock these structural pieces just for the simple fact of unlocking them. And that is all that we need from our science, so let's go ahead and leave that. We're going to head into the administration building. We unfortunately can't access the Mun program just yet, because we must have returned a crew from the orbit of Kerbal, and we haven't even done a flyby of the Mun crewed. So maybe it's going to be worth it to get these achievements, these advances, and these milestones. It might be worth it to have the Mun program. I was just going to brute force ourselves. Was going to just head in for a landing. But you know what? I may change gears here. We should walk before we run, I think. So we are going to aim for the Mun program, which means that we need to first get in orbit of Kerbal. Oh wow, that's right. We lost Jeb. We lost our only Kerbal to ever make it into space. Oof. New day dawns, and it brings light to the situation of where our program is right now. So, Mun program aside, we're gonna do a flyby of the Mun. That is for sure. We're going the Mun today, and that will suffice for the completing of orbit of Kerbal. I think I might take this contract because it gives us access to an engine, and I don't think we have that engine yet. So let's go ahead and take that just in case it gives us a new item. And we're gonna take this as well because I don't think we unlocked the hitchhiker storage container, and that might be a fun way to store Bob. We're gonna grab the bring the Mun stone back. Hopefully we can find one when we get there. And that is all the contracts we're gonna take. Alright, so with nothing left to do, now it's time to build our rocket. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is pop open the Mach 1 command pod, as well as the hitchhiker storage container. Oh wow, that is massive. Okay, so we're not going to be using this. Was hoping that would be in line with the rest of it. So it looks like Bob is going to have to sit this one out. Bob's going to sit this one out, and we're just going to bring Valentina. Oh, we do have Bob along. Okay. Valentina is going to be the first to do a flyby, as well as the first on the Mun. We want to make sure that we can get her stars early. So first thing we're going to do is select an IVA. I think I want a little bit higher tech than the Starlex, the low-tech analog. This is by far, I would say, probably my favorite IVA. But I think we're going to look at a different one. Let's check out the Warbirds. We're going to do... there's probably going to be an extended cut episode on this. If you're interested in seeing more, seeing the test flights and my thought process as we figure out how to make the craft, feel free to check out our channel membership part with the join button below. But anyways, I'm going to check out this IVA, figure out what we want to get, and then we'll be back and build it. Alright, so after reviewing our choices, we are going to go with the KSA IVA mod. If you were wondering how I'm able to have multiple at the same time, just all that is from is the Revivia mod, which allows you to have multiple IVAs. So it is time to build our craft. We're going to be building it from the top, the last stage up. Doesn't need much for the parachutes. We're going to make it fairly low weight. We are, however, going to be bringing with us some science. Let's go ahead and stick that in payload, a service bay. There we go. And we're going to put 3 sets of experiments. So let's get our mystery goo in here first. There we go. So now all we have to do is remove them from symmetry. And we're going to put the small inline reaction wheel right there. And let's get these on their action groups before anything else. Custom 1 is always deploy, as I like to do. Custom 2 will be science above Kerbal. Let's go ahead and just grab these. Yeah, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got 4 different types of experiments. So we got space above Kerbal, and we're going to do high space above the Mun. We're going to do low space above the Mun. So we're going to try to get everything we can on this flyby. There we go. Oh, let's go ahead and add crew reports to all these. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and get magnetometer boom in here. And now that we have all these set up on the action group, we're going to fill that in with the battery, hiding everything from sight. Let's remove these from symmetry. Actually, no, let's not. Let's scooch them in a little bit. There we go. And now let's remove them from symmetry. There we are. Put them on their action groups. We're gonna say this one is space above Kerbal. No, you know what? Not space above Kerbal. I'm gonna put these ones first. And then this one, because this one's gonna possibly get in the way of things. Alright. So all those are on their respective action groups. So now let's put number 5 as we're going to toggle that. We're going to toggle each of these, make sure they're closed. These ones are going to clip out through. You know what? We can actually change that right now. Make it not so. There we go. Sneak out a little bit. We also want this to be on the deploy stage as well and have it nice and open. We don't technically need the service bay to open for the science experiments to work, but just in my mind it makes sense that the experiment should be exposed to space. So we're going to do the heat shield. We don't need as much blader, so we're going to cut that in half. We kind of don't need that much even, but we'll bring it. Alright, so our return stage is set. Let's go ahead and put our drogue chutes on different stages. I like to have them pop at separate times. Just in case anything happens, we don't have all of our parachutes deploying at once. We have a contingency plan. So now we're going to get the thing that's going to take us by the Mun, which should be fairly easy. Built this many a time, but it's always a good idea to check the delta V. So this is over twice the amount that I need to get from low curve in orbit to a Mun flyby, so we're gonna cut that fuel tank in half. This is still way more than I need, but that's fine. A little bit of extra will be fine. We want to take all of our precautions with Valentina after what happened with Jeb. So now we just need to build the rocket to get that piece up to low curve in orbit, and we'll be ready to do our first test. Alright, with a Kodiak liquid fuel engine and this amount of fuel, that gives us 2,558 meters per second delta V, which is not enough to get into orbit. So let's see if we can tack on a little bit extra fuel. No, we're just going to be fighting the rocket equation, so let's bring that back. It has plenty of thrust to weight, but I think we're going to put on some side boosters here so we can utilize less of that fuel going up. We'll throw some parachutes on there, see if we can't recover some of that. Wow, the staging is actually fairly correct. We may actually not even fire this engine until we drop these. And that gives us plenty of delta V to circularize with this tank alone. I think we are going to throw some separatrons on that to destage it, not destage it, deorbit it if we can. You know what, we may even throw some parachutes on there. See if we can't recover that as well. Yep, so everything seems to be good. This says that it's not good here. Oh, we do have life support. That's right. That's right. Okay, so that is something we need to take into consideration. So first and foremost, though, let's fix this. go. Okay, so that's now in the green. Don't like how that sits, so I'm going to clip it in just ever so slightly. Just that much. Okay, so our parachutes are good. We need life support. Shoot, I had the opportunity of unlocking some life support in the science node, but we spent it all because I'm like, oh, we're not using science on, we're not using life support on this one. That sounds exactly like me. Let's, okay, so we got oxygen. We can add extra oxygen there. 171 days. Let's, remove this from symmetry. What else can we get in here? Can we get food? Okay, so we can get food and water and oxygen. Okay. Okay. So we do have a little bit of something. Let's put this in three-way symmetry along the sides. That one's going to be water. This one's going to be food. This one's going to be oxygen. Okay, so with that being said, we've got 41 days of food, 60 days of water, 87 days of oxygen. We also don't have a lot of battery life on here, so let's tack. I don't think we need that many. Let's tack that. 800 electricity. So yeah, so we gotta remember this isn't landing on the moon or anything. It's not. We don't need this much food, water, oxygen. We might need the electricity, but we don't need all that life support. However, if for some reason this thing can't make it back to the surface of Kerbal, we do not want to leave Valentina stuck there. So, what are we going to call this? What's our naming convention for this? Okay, so we're going to name this along the feeling of the mission. And so we are going to name this first one the Avenger 1. Avenger Mach 1. Mark 1. You know what? I'm going to end up confusing that over and over again. So we're going to call this the Avenger 1. 0 plus 1. So it needs a pilot. It does not have any probe control. No probe control room IVA mode for this one. So we are going to have to rely on our pilot skills alone. So let's go ahead and get our action group set up, and I already noticed the problem that we have, which is good. But action group 1 is deploy. Action group 2 is curb science. AG3 is high science. High mun high sci. AG4 is mun low sci. AG5 is stow. So that'll do that. And I think that's all we have action groups for. So the thing that I realized that I was missing is solar panels. We have a lot of battery. You know, we've got a day's worth of battery on there. But we have no way of regaining any of that charge, and once we start doing experiments and all that, we're going to run out pretty soon, and we need electricity in order to control this thing. So we're going to need some solar panels. Okay, so we got our reaction wheel, we got our solar panels, we've got our life support, we've got everything. We've got our little mun flag. We'll see if this deorbits. Hopefully this can. Save ourselves a little money. Alright, time for action groups. Not action groups, staging. Okay, let's check our center of lift and center of mass. That is terrible. Let's throw on some pretty heavy duty control surface wings. Okay, so that should help. Little funky looking, but nonetheless. And let's throw some stabilizers on here. Why is that hooking to that? Oh, that's why. Okay. Alright, that is looking good. That is looking like a rocket that can not only get ourselves to orbit, but a flyby from the Mun. I mean, we may have enough Delta V to land on it, but the problem is that we want to make sure that we can access the Mun program, and I think if we land on the Mun before we start the program, then we lock ourselves out. So let's go ahead and save this. We're going to run a simulation. Going to probably do as much of the mission as I can, so we'll see that in the extended cut. And if it all goes according to plan, then I'll see you very soon. Alright, so we learned several things. First off, we do not have enough life support. And not only do we not have enough life support, but we need life support that can handle waste products. That does not have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the stuff on this stage. We're going to just go ahead and put another service bay in here. That is going to contain our life support. And we can use with a few more batteries, I think, as well. So let's see. I'll put a little more food in there. And another waste container. Alright, so we have way more than we need. Got tons of electricity, tons of food and water and oxygen, as well as the ability of producing a lot of waste. In our test flight, Valentina Kerman actually died of air toxicity. And about the same time our stuff actually ran out as well. So we're going to want to make sure we prevent that. We're going to throw a couple extra solar panels on here, because once we got rid of these ones, the craft had no control, no electricity. Nothing to speak of. Okay. Yes, that's right. We do need more fuel in this stage. And as fun as it was to fly with these, I think we're going to go for a liquid fuel booster with a couple Kodiak engines on it as well. That is one thing I did not do, is I did not check to see whether or not we recovered this stage. So hopefully we'll remember to do that in the next test flight, because we are going to have to test flight this one more time. We're going to need to get another mission under our belts to make sure that this thing can work. Alright, so that should be enough to get us to orbit. I think we're going to place this last parachute on its last stage and maybe try to use that as an emergency parachute. Bring that closer to the ground and get some launch clamps on it once more. Oh yeah, and cameras. That was it. That was a huge thing that we needed. So firstly, I'm going to put this camera here. That's going to keep an eye on our launch as well as our descent. Secondly, I'm going to put a camera here facing this way, and that's going to keep an eye on our solar panels. Actually, this way. That's going to keep an eye on our solar panels, so that way if we see the sun out of this camera, we know that these 4 solar panels will be active. So that way we can kind of align ourselves if need be. Just realize that this is probably going to get in the way of this camera. So I will put it there instead. It's probably going to block. This is probably going to block it a little bit. Some of it's going to get blocked. I don't know that there's much we can do about that. But we've got our 2 cameras. And we should be good to go. You know, we're actually going to move this one down. And we're actually going to throw one more on here. Hopefully that it'll work. And we're just going to aim this up like that. And you know, maybe it'll show us that our parachutes have deployed. May not work at all, but we'll see. Okay, so with all of that in store, let's go ahead and get Valentina in the cockpit. And let's run another test flight. And I will see you momentarily. And hopefully all works out. Alright, well that was an excellent test. There's 2 things I want to do here. And that is add just a little bit more fuel to both these stages. Just a little bit more. Oh, and we don't need this booster cam. It didn't work anyways. So all in all, I think this is ready to go. Let's just go ahead and check our staging, make sure nothing got all wonky before we left. All right. We were able to recover the center booster and one of these side boosters. I don't know what happened to the other one, but so our radial shoots and stage recovery mod will be working according to plan. And yeah. Oh, I did realize we don't need to carry the monoprop in this or the spare parts. So that is all good. The Avenger 1 is ready to go. It's going to avenge Jebediah by making it to orbit, completing that requisite for the Mun program, and then Valentina will step foot in his honor upon the Mun. Probably the stepping foot on the Mun will be in the next episode, but she's definitely going to see it for him. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get this out on the launch pad, and I'll see you there. Alright, so here we are at the launch pad and a new day dawns. Let's go ahead and hop into the cockpit. Valentina Kerman turning on all the systems. And getting ourselves ready. Okay, I'm just setting our all the pieces that we want. I don't need that. There we go, and that is our camera. So with everything in line, I'll keep that off. We have our oxygen, water, food, as well as our waste management here as well. We've got plenty of each, but we're probably not going to need all of that. However, on the off chance that we get stranded out in space, and need a rescue mission, it'll be very important to have enough life support to actually be rescued. So, okay, so without any further ado, let's crank up our throttle to max, get ourselves in a good position, get clearance from mission control, and let's launch. Alright, we have a great thrust to weight ratio right now of 2.21, so we're going to just start tilting over where vertical speed is passing 100 meters per second, so it's alright. Let's keep an eye on our tilt more than our camera. Ooh. Is our SAS not on? Our SAS should be on. Yeah, it is. A little wobbly as we break through the cloud layer. Okay, a little hard to control. Not as wobbly. This wasn't as wobbly in the test flight, but we didn't do any auto strutting. Oh, there's our stage. Drop them off. Nice. Where is our apoapsis? Okay, our apoapsis still has a while to go before we make it to space. Alright, we got a little bit better control. That's good. But yeah, that was primarily, all that wobbling was primarily because I didn't auto strut. And we had quite a lot of power going through. It's good to be back in the POV cockpit once again. Not just Gene Carmen in the probe control room, but Valentina Carmen in the seat. All right, apoapsis is rising, which is good. Our trajectory just changed a little bit, so let's tilt down to match it a little bit more. Not entirely, but just a little more. We're gonna bring ourselves to 100 kilometers apoapsis, and then we'll circularize from there. There we go. Okay, so we can actually use MAC-Jeb to plot our maneuver and circularize at the apoapsis. Let's bring this up. So we gotta wait until we get out of the atmosphere. We're at 67 kilometers, and then we'll get a realistic view on our burn time. Alright, there we go, 1 minute and 34. It's good enough. We are getting pretty close to that, so let's go ahead and turn ourselves towards our maneuver. Let's get eyes on the cameras out there. Oh, shooting past it a little bit. And I would say we're lined up there. Alright. So 1 minute 34, that is, what is that, like 47 seconds? I believe. Yeah. 46 seconds to the burn. There we go. Alright, make sure we hold ourselves stable. We have 1,000 delta V that we need. What's our fuel like right now? Oh, that's not going to tell me. Yeah, I think we're gonna dip into our inner stage a little bit. Oh no! We were supposed to add more ablator here. We definitely ran out in our test flight. Oh no. Okay, well, you know what? We'll burn that bridge when we get there. Alright, periapsis coming out of the negatives. Still relatively high in space, so we should be able to make orbit. And there we go. And I just realized something. We need to actually not just orbit Kerbal, but we need to return a vessel and a Kerbal from orbit of Kerbal. So before we can do our flyby, because we want to make sure that we get the MUN program, and I think if we do the flyby, we may lock ourselves out of it as well. So before we do that, let's just... You know what? We could probably bring this whole thing home. Probably got enough for us to wait to do a landing. Alright, so we are going to call this mission early, bring Valentina back home, put in enough ablator in there, and then turn around and launch her again. That way we can hopefully activate the MUN program and then do this all correctly. So let's go ahead and bring her home first. You know what? We're not actually set up to not have that. We weren't set up to do a powered landing, so we are going to get rid of that. Yeah, I know, we're coming home. Thank you. And so we will say goodbye. Unfortunately, we can't recover that cost. I was hoping that we would. Don't feel confident enough to do any science right now, because I don't want our magnetometer boom to stick out and destroy us. So we're just coming on home. Nonetheless, we do... Oh, just exploded up. Oh, look at that. That's fun. One thing we are thankful for in this IVA is this temperature gauge right here. That'll let us know just how close to death we are. But that was nice. A quick orbital hop. Didn't bother plotting in where we're coming home, just came on home, so we may end up just landing in the ocean outside of the KSC. Well, not outside, but east of the KSC. And with that, we have successfully made it through the worst part of the atmosphere, and we can just glide on down. Our parachutes say that they're safe to deploy. Something just exploded. So we're going to go ahead and stage our drogue chute. Time warp our way down a little bit further. Opens up. Now we're going to stage our double parachutes. And at 1.5 kilometers, we're going to stage our final parachute. It sounds like there's thunder going on. Is that a thunderstorm? Oh, it looks over that way. Thunderstorm. Okay. And our parachute opens, bringing our vertical velocity still a little high, a little uncomfortably high. I like a nice 6.5 to 4 meters per second descent, but nonetheless, it should be fine. And as I mentioned in the test flight, if anything happens, it'll break the heat shield first, followed by the life support, followed by the science experiments, and then at last Valentina. But we made a successful landing, so let's go ahead and you know what, let's do a little science while we're here. We've got her safely aboard, and we're going to recover the vessel, change the ablator, and then send her right back out. Oh, and we're gonna start the MUN program. All right, so we now have access to the MUN program. As we see here, we have successfully returned a crew from the orbit of Kerbal, so we can now unlock it. But more importantly, we must not have performed a crewed flyby of the MUN, which is what we were just about to do. So had we not brought her home, we would have locked ourselves out of this program entirely. And I really want to do this. I want to focus on our administration building a little more on strategy. So we're going to accept that program. We're also going to cancel our massive scale launches 1 in favor of massive scale launches 2. There we go. So we got our strategies in place. Let's upgrade the administration building, because with this upgrade we now can accept another one, and I think this will be a good one to boldly go with funds and science. When you you get funds for when you transmit science or recover it from a new biome and new celestial body. So we'll get quite a bit of funds from that as well. Yeah, so we're gonna add that as well. So it's nice, you know, the upgrade costs us about 500,000 funds, but we're going to be getting 100,000 funds each time we collect and transmit from new biomes. So it should pay itself off in the end. So let's also go to mission control real fast and see if we have anything about a flyby of the Mun, and it does not look like it. Nope. Okay. All right, let's load up the rocket. I'll see you on the launch pad. Once again, a new day dawns. This time we decided to take off from the desert launch station. A little change of pace. Change of location. We will have to pay attention to our inclination because we are at a different latitude. Anyways, let's go ahead and get ourselves ready once again to fly. And we are good to go. As you can see, you can just barely make out this little gray line. We did add the rest of the ablator in, just the full 200. Universal time, and this one will be to the node. Okay. Alright, everything else looks good. We are ready to go. Let's go ahead and get clearance from mission control. That sounds good enough. Alright, throttle up and lift off. That's right, we didn't adjust for the wobbliness. So we're still quite wobbly, unfortunately. But that will go away once our side boosters jettison. So let's just try to control our angle. Ooh, don't tilt over too far, and let's just hold it there for now. And we're getting ready to stage. Say goodbye to those side boosters, and hopefully those will be recovered by the stage recovery mod. Let's go ahead and turn this into our information, because this doesn't have our apoapsis information here. Okay, so we're gonna follow our prograde down a little bit. Still a little wobbly, but nonetheless controllable. Apoapsis climbing well enough. Thrust to weight ratio of 1.6. Nothing to worry about there. This is a pretty decent rocket, I think. Does well enough anyways. Alright, 64, 66, 67, and 70 kilometers. We are now headed out into space. We're gonna get up to 100 kilometers like before, and then we'll circularize. There we are. Excellent. Okay, so we are going to want to plot into MacLeod. Circularize at next Apple Apsis. And see, once again, it's telling us 332, but once we get into space, it is now 127. Alright, so let's turn our cameras back on. Turn ourselves towards the maneuver. Kind of lock into it. We don't have... Oh, you know what? We do have lock to prograde now. Because Valentina has successfully come back from orbit, she is now a 1-star pilot. I forgot about that. She's now a 1-star pilot, so she can lock to prograde. That's actually going to be very useful. That slight amount of tech increase will be great. Oh, I'm not even paying attention. So, nearly a minute and a half. We'll just call it a minute and a half. 45 seconds. All right, we're good. Good. I think we've got enough fuel. Oh, time to burn. About to run out of fuel, so we will stage. There we are. And we'll say goodbye to that stage, and hopefully that will be recovered as well. Alright, so now we're going to lock into prograde. Excellent. And just finish out the burn. And that should leave us enough fuel to do a lunar flyby and return. Ground proximity. We're not ground proximity, thank you. That might just mean because we've passed our Apple Apsis, so it now assumes that we are on a crash course, but not a crash course, crash trajectory. Collision course. Alright, looking at our periapsis, and we are now in space. Alright, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and clear our... Oops, not that. Remove our node. There we go. And we are going to target the Mun. And we're going to come over here to Astrogator and plot it, use that to plot in the maneuver. We do, of course, want to deploy, get everything open, and get our solar array going. There we are. Excellent, excellent. Perfect. So now we want to change this to rendezvous mode. Okay, perfect. So we have minute and 10 seconds. So that would be 35 seconds to the node. Let's go ahead and point ourselves towards it. Turn off our prograde. There we go. Locked in and good to go. And with a little bit of time to spare, we're going to go ahead and kill our time warp. Camera see anything interesting? No. And we're pointed the correct way, slightly off. So let's go ahead and point ourselves perfectly on. And 35 seconds, and we're firing. So we're going to be looking at this closest approach right here. And that'll tell us what our eventual periapsis above the Mun is. And I want to keep it very low. I want to keep it below 30. Make sure that we absolutely get that in space low. Which, there's not a lot of science to get, actually, in space low right now, because we've already sent probes, down there that collected a little bit of the science on its way down. But there's some residual science there, the mystery goo container, the target scanning camera. So we'll pick up that. But we also have crew reports, EVA reports, so that'll be new and different. So we should get a good chunk of science from this, and I think hopefully we can unlock some better life support, because if we're going to be putting a Kerbal on the Mun, we're going to need to make sure that they can live long enough to tell the tale. So I'm not really paying attention to the Delta V burn right there. I was paying most attention to the closest approach, and so we're going to just kind of dial this in. Like so. We're going to flip our way through the planet and come, or the celestial body, and come through the other side. $26.96. That seems about right. Let's go ahead and move the node once again. All right, and I don't think I'm gonna allow myself map view. We did allow it in the test flight, but I'm gonna see if I can make this flyby on instruments alone. Alright, so let's say goodbye to Kerbal for now. Time warp our way out into high space. See, this is why I wanted the higher tech command module, because look how glorious that looks. That looks so good. And I mean, we used medium high tech for the probe launch, or the probe landing on the Mun, so it's only fitting that we use the appropriate tech for that. Alright, what's our electrical charge? I didn't point myself towards the sun in the slightest. Let's see if we can't get some sunlight. Oh, that's not even the right camera. There we go. Well, we can see the sun reflecting off the camera there. Oh, and there's the sun. Okay, so this is our solar camera, so we know that it'll be getting sunlight from there. Okay. So, also, now we're here, we can look at our ship's log, and we're in space high above Kerbal. Let's go ahead and do our Kerbal science. And that brings that up here. Alright, so we got magnetometer scan, a crew report, temperature scan, atmospheric scan. All of this is new because we've never really been in high space. There we go. Alright, so we've got 2 hours and 20 minutes until we enter into the Mun sphere of influence. So let's go ahead and hop out of the command module into space. And we're going to take the data, the crew report in there, and then we are going to let go. Just kind of float ever so gently backwards. Not very far, but far enough to get an interesting little shot of our craft. She is also going to do an EVA report, high space above Kerbal, and now it's time to safely board because we do not want to lose Valentina ALIVE. There we go. Safely aboard once more. Alright, so now we can make our way to the sphere of influence and do that once again, because we're going to need to do a spacewalk to collect the crew reports on each of them. And we are coming into the sphere of influence change. 5 minutes. There's a lot of information that can be had here. Take some time to learn that information. You can do a lot in IVA mode. Okay, so we are now in space high over the Mun. So once again, let's do some science. Alright, as you see here, we are getting diminishing returns, so the magnetometer scan does nothing, so we'll just reset that. Crew report, of course, is new, so we'll keep that. Thermometer gives us nothing. Barometer gives us nothing. Target scanning, it will always give us diminishing returns, so, but you know, 12 science is 12 science. Same with the mystery goo, 4.6, that might be the last time we can do it. And there we go. So now all we need is the EVA report. Let's go ahead and hop out once again. Go. Take the data there. Do our EVA report there. And go ahead and come back in. Alright, so let's go ahead and get ourselves a camera. Something to show us what we're looking at. You know what? We'll turn this one into the camera. That one will be that. Okay. We're going to want to point ourselves retrograde, I think. I think that'll give us the best possible view. You know, we can actually put this up there. There we go. Alright, we'll have two different cameras. There we go. That's a good enough image as we do our flyby. There we go. Is there any way we can get some sunlight on here? There we go. Oh, and there she is. Luna herself. Okay. Let's time warp our way closer. We are going to be on the dark side of it at our closest point, unfortunately. Yep, see there she goes, out of view entirely. Oh well. Let's keep an eye on our periapsis, and seems like that's a good enough place as any. Space just above the Mun, so let's go ahead and do our science. Excellent. Yeah, once again, diminishing returns. So no magnetometer. We do have a crew report, which is 15 now, so that's good. Temperature scan is nothing. Barometer is nothing. Target scanning, 24. Can't complain. And a mystery goo for 6.9. Excellent. So let's, one last time, get ourselves on EVA. Ooh. Ooh, ooh. Threw myself back with a little more force than typical. Alright. Let's go ahead and grab our EVA report first. 24 science. Nice. Scoot ahead a little bit. Take the data there. And you know what? While we're here, let's collect the data. Collect all the data we can. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to risk it. We got a lot. You know what? We could get the mystery goo on the other side though, right? Maybe? Being very risky here. There it is. And collect that. Okay. Yep, that's all we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and get back into the safety of the ship. We may actually do one more EVA. But we'll get there. When we get there, okay, we're starting to lose control a little bit. overcorrecting a little too much. Let's just grab the handles. Okay. Heart back at a regular speed. Whoo. Okay. Take a second. Enjoy yourselves. We're gonna time warp our way out a little bit so we can once again be in the sunlight. There is the Mun. Okay, we're gonna line it up this way, I think. And then go that way. Alright, that should be a good enough shot. Let's go take one for the papers. Come on, Valentina, look a little happy. You're the first Kerbal to ever do this. Alright, now we gotta get you back in shot. Oh, she's happy when she has her RCS. That's why. Good job. Alright, now stop giving me a heart attack, get back inside. Ooh, there we go. Seatbelt fastened, all arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. We actually crossed a little bit of distance there. Scary to think. Alright, so let's go ahead. Turn SAS back on. Point ourselves retrograde, which will bring us pointed at Kerbal. So that's nice. Once we get out of our kind of resources we have, once we get out of the sphere of influence of the Mun, we can kind of see what we can do to bring our return trajectory back home. We do not have a lot of fuel remaining. Let's see what kind of trajectory we've got when we return. 5 minutes to the escape. And we are free. That is a pretty ridiculous periapsis. I really want to go into the... Okay, I see. Alright, I was confused. I thought this was Kerbal. This whole body was Kerbal, but no, that is the orbit of the Mun right now. That is Kerbal. So we are very high up. Okay. So we're going to need to go to our apoapsis and burn retrograde. And hopefully bring down our periapsis. And hopefully we have enough fuel. So let's time warp our way out. Alright, at about an hour out, I'm going to kill time warp. What's our... Okay, so our life support is looking good. So now the only question is will we have enough fuel to lower our orbit? So let's go ahead and time warp again a little, bring ourselves closer to our apoapsis. Okay, 19 minutes. Okay, at 1 minute and 23 seconds, I'm gonna kill my time warp. We're gonna point ourselves retrograde and hope for the best. Periapsis, come on, you got this. Alright, so we're below below the atmosphere, how much delta V do we have left? Oh, we actually have quite a bit. We do have quite a bit. Let's just tap just a little bit further, bring ourselves down to 55. And we're gonna see if we can't burn off the rest of our fuel at our periapsis and use that to bring our apoapsis down a bit before we re-enter. So, we've got our solar panels out, so we'll have plenty of electrical charge. So let's just time warp our way a little closer to the planet. Oh no, that's a little too close. That's a little too close. That is a little too close. What is our altitude? 186 kilometers. Whoo, that was risky. Alright, looks like that's the planet right there. Okay, so we're gonna stow, which means that our thing is closed up, and we're also going to why can't we retract our solar panels? Oh, these ones don't retract. That's why. That's right. These weren't meant to re-enter the atmosphere at all. These ones retracted. Okay, perfect. Okay, everything is looking good. So at periapsis, we burn. Alright, so we are now back in the atmosphere. Alright, so we're already starting to drop our apoapsis, and we're getting some heat, so let's fire that. Oh, that is bringing our apoapsis down considerably. Okay, that's starting to explode. Okay, so let's just stage that, get that off there. Oh, that was dangerous. Okay, we're holding retrograde. Okay, so now we're just the heat shield. Okay, this is alright. This is alright. Ooh, that could have been the end of us right there. That booster, if that had exploded, it would have potentially taken us out. All right, so we are past our apoapsis, or periapsis. So we are now back on the ascent. Yep. Let's see. It says the ascent. So it'll take us one more pass to get through. Once we're back out of the atmosphere, we'll pop open our solar panels and do the ride one more time. Alright, so let's go ahead and deploy our solar panels. Alright, so they're deployed. Excellent. And do that again. But maybe not time warp so close to our re-entry as we did last time. And once more. And that's bringing us to the dark side. We'll probably end up landing in the dark side no matter what. Unfortunately, we don't have too much control of where we will land. We might have had the fuel to just re-enter orbit, and then we could have chosen our landing position, but we planned for a fire re-entry. We're gonna get a fire re-entry. Alright, so let's go ahead and retract those, because we can see that we are air braking, which means that we are in the atmosphere. Once more, the heating effect is taking over. We can keep an eye on our temperature here. Let us know how our pod's doing, how our heat shield is doing. We can see how much ablator we have by the coloring of the heat shield. And we can see our hold of retrograde. This is going to go a lot better than in my test flight, because in my test flight, Valentina wasn't any level pilot. She was level 0. And so I wasn't able to hold retrograde, so we would occasionally slip, you know, left or right, you know, this way or that, and you know that would increase the temperature on our pod. But now we can just hold retrograde, do a little dance, and have fun as we come back down. Are we through our periapsis again? Ooh, yeah, we are. So at a 54.7 kilometer periapsis, it's not. We may have to do this a couple times. So. Once again, back on the rodeo. And now that we're back in space, deploy our solar panels once more. Check out our life support. We got plenty to work with. We didn't bring any spare parts, so hopefully we don't have any accidents. Might try something risky. Let's get to our apoapsis and see if we can't shave some altitude off of our periapsis. Alright, so we're gonna get ourselves to about 4 minutes. Yeah, let's say 4 minutes to our apoapsis. Okay, well, a little past 4, but that's fine. Alright, we're gonna point ourselves retrograde, and we are going to do the risque maneuver called get out and push. We are going to want. Oh, can we not? Oh, let's let go. Ooh, don't shift so far away. Oh, that's also a really cool shot. Oh, did we bump that? We might have bumped that. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, I think we bumped this. We need to fix that. Yep, you see, we're now flipping all over the place. We can't have that. So let's hold retrograde and try not to smack into it this time. Okay, I will float ever so slowly off. Alright, now that we're far enough away, then we'll do that. Okay. Oh, risky maneuvers require bravery. Valentina, you think you're up for the task? And what we need to do here, line ourselves up with it as best we can. Alright. This is it, moment of truth. Okay, now we need to get on. Now we need to get aboard. Okay. Okay, my heart's racing. Come on, you got this. Grab. Board. Get in your seat. Periapsis. Barely did anything. Okay, well, we need to push more, but you know what? When most people do the get out and push method, they're not in IVA. They're not in Through the Eyes of the Kerbal. Oh, let's just take our multiple passes and be done with it. Oh, that was so risky. Alright, so let's retract our solar panels once more now that we're back again through the atmosphere. All of that was for naught, so I'm so glad we didn't lose her. Alright, once again, on fire. I'm not gonna physics warp through this because we may end up losing control of our heat. Valentina's just having a great old time though. Alright, now that we're through the thick part of the atmosphere, we can time warp again. Sun rises once more over Kerbal, and we are once again in space. Let's deploy our solar panels so we don't run out of electricity. Life support still good. And once more onto the breach, my friends. And twice more onto the breach, my friends. All right, well, thrice more into. You know what? I'll just see you when we're closer.
3 hours later.
Oh, this one might be it. This might be the pass that brings us down. We're past our periapsis, but if we can drop this before we get out of the atmosphere, this might be the last pass. But if not, then we'll probably land somewhere around here, probably on the dark side, unfortunately, but can we do it? No, I don't think we can. Alright, yeah, we're gonna be doing one more pass over. Yeah, that took quite a few times to bring it down that far. 50 some odd kilometers above the surface is not a great altitude for re-entry. You're gonna want something below 50, I feel. It's the best method. No, apoapsis just above the Kármán line. Alright, back again out in space. Deploying our solar panels yet again. Ooh. Gotta turn off time warp. Gonna try to see, maybe we'll get one more shot for posterity. There we go. Yeah, she's only happy when she's in when she has her RCS pack. Okay, let's get onto this while we have a good opportunity. There we go. Alright, back in the capsule. Still not at our apoapsis, excellent. So we don't need our solar panels anymore. I think we're gonna have enough electrical charge to handle one final re-entry. Let's go ahead and get our SAS back on, point ourselves retrograde, and I'm gonna leave this off. We're gonna put this into landing mode. Change up this camera. There we go. Nice view on both. Ooh, it looks like we have no ablator left. Yep. Seems like it. Oh, we can check in our resources. Right? Yep. Empty ablator. 0%. Well, this was a very efficient flight. I mean, we could have utilized the fuel in our tank final stage a little bit better on our re-entry. Maybe if we had come in above the Kármán line and circularized first, we may have had enough fuel to bring our apoapsis down a little bit more and not have to take in so many passes, but nonetheless, very good job, Valentina. Alright, getting ready to hit the atmosphere one more time. And we are going to be on the dark side, unfortunately. Alright. One last time. Heat's starting to build. Gotta keep an eye on our temperature. Periapsis is now about to hit 0 kilometers. Ground proximity warning goes off. Turn that off. And we are coming home, everybody. Coming home fairly quickly. I'm gonna get out of physics warp, just in case. Our altitude is 35 kilometers. In the thickest part of the atmosphere right now. Once we drop down into the 20s, we'll start seeing some heat dissipation, and we'll be good. Our temperature is rising occasionally, which is unsettling, but then it drops right back down, so hopefully it's nothing to worry about. Now below 24 kilometers, sounds of the heat is starting to lessen. Visuals are still as prominent as ever, but I believe we are now through the thick part of the atmosphere. And there we go. Our heating effect has slowed to a crawl and eventually stopped entirely. So, 17 kilometers above the surface. We cannot deploy our parachute just yet. Let's go ahead and turn that lighting back on. We'll know that we can deploy when that little light pops on. We're at stage 3. These are our drogue chutes. Stage 2 are our 2 side chutes, and stage 1 is the top chute. Let's go ahead and put vessel view up here. And let's stage our drogue chutes. It's good to see them deploy. Nice. We're at under 10 kilometers above the surface. And we're going to kind of wait until those deploy fully. Or we get to 5 kilometers, whichever comes first. Time warp our way a little forward. And we're just going to stage them in the second set of parachutes. Those won't deploy until 2.5 kilometers, I believe. And there we go. Well, maybe 2.5 was our drogue chutes. But there we go, our drogue chutes deploy. We are now going negative 10 meters per second vertical velocity. Physics warp once more, get a little closer. And at 1.75, we're going to fire our final stage, final parachute. And hopefully that will deploy and slow us down even further before we hit the surface. What biome are we in? Can we tell? Oh, we're flying over the water. Excellent. So we're going to have a nice calm splashdown. And with that passing 1 kilometer, we have all of our parachutes open. We're slowed down. -8 isn't great, but that is what we found in our test flight. And we landed on solid ground in our test flight out in the grasslands. So the fact that we're going to be landing on water means that I feel pretty confident in this number. Yeah, Valentina does a little dance in celebration. And all that is left to do is touch down safely. So I'll just use this time to talk about what we're going to be doing. Oh, actually, before that, real fast, let's check our stage recovery mod. Did we recover any stages? Yes, we did. Yep. So it's the same stages that we recovered in our test flight. So that's interesting to see. One of them was not recovered. One of the side boosters. So maybe it crashed into the other. Not sure. But anyways, we are now able to further our MUN program, and I believe in the next episode we will start off by unlocking more science. We may even upgrade our R&D building so we can unlock better science and passing 300 meters. And we are going to turn our sights to actually landing. That flyby was great. Valentina feels ready. She is now probably going to be a 2-star pilot. She's probably now going to be a 2-star pilot and have a lot more control over the craft than we did before. But I am talking through our descent and our touchdown safely in the water. Splash down. Let's see, what side of the planet are we on? Oh, the completely opposite side. It's absolute midnight right now where she landed. What is that, the desert launch site? Oh, not too far away from the KSC. It's nice. She actually may have almost hit the other continent. So let's go ahead and recall her back home. Wow, 197 science from that. That is excellent. And we have not that much more money than we had before. But we have a new day to work on all of that, since it is still nighttime. It's going to take a good chunk of our money to upgrade our research and development, but we're gonna want that. We're gonna need that upgraded to get better technology. I think we're gonna focus on engines if we can. Maybe get some more powerful lifting engines that can better suit bigger launch vehicles. But we will have to figure that out in the next episode. Like I mentioned before, in the next episode, I do want to pursue that Mun landing, so that is the goal. And so I hope you're excited for that, and let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode and what you think of that going forward. But anyways, that is where I'm going to leave today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward for more KSP POV. If you did, please consider subscribing if you're not already. Drop me a like, let me know your thoughts, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take care.